Hello, Kylie J here and welcome back to my channel. This is the third video that I've recorded today and I am pooped. I feel like I've just walked a mile. So I'm going to power through this because I don't have many chances anymore to record a video. So let's just get to it. This video is going to have the same topics as my first trimester update. If you haven't seen that, the link for it will be down in the description box, as well as the link to the video I posted before that talking about some overall things about my pregnancy, such as if I was trying, when I tested, how I knew I was pregnant, how I told my boyfriend, blah blah blah. And whenever I get my third trimester video posted, the link for that will be down below here as well. So since the video is going to be a little bit long, since I'm going to be talking about different things, I'm going to have timestamps in the description box down below, so you can go down there and see what I'll be talking about at what times, and if you want to skip around, you can. Sorry, my energy is just like really depleted right now. I'm powering through for you guys. So again, the first thing I'm going to talk about is how I felt during my second trimester here. And again, I have my notebook to help me out. So the first thing that I want to say on this, before I forget about it and move on, is by 13 weeks, the very beginning of my second trimester, I was already starting to feel my baby fluttering around inside me. And the only reason I really felt this is because I had a prior pregnancy and I kind of knew what to feel for and what to look for. So that happened very early on, and along with me feeling his so pretty much during some of the second trimester, maybe about like half of it or all of it or so, whenever he would be, moving around, he must have been hitting my stomach or something, because I just remember I would feel really like nauseous and sick, and coincidentally it was always when I was feeling him move. Here in the third trimester, I haven't had that issue for like weeks now, so it was just a little during this time kind of thing. Now, for the most part, there is a reason that they say that the second trimester is like the best time of a pregnancy, or like the time where you feel the best. My whole first trimester was just awful. If you haven't seen that video, the link's down below. During my second trimester here, I felt so much better. I didn't notice myself feeling as sick on a regular basis, until Colt would start moving, and then I would, feel him and get a little bit sick. But I wasn't feeling as nauseous as I used to be. I was, especially in the evening, or like in the afternoon when I would put my daughter down for her nap, I would feel horrible the rest of the evening. But that started to go away by this time. I still, at this point, didn't really feel like I had too terribly much energy. My energy level for me has fluctuated a lot during my entire pregnancy. I have had weeks during all of my trimesters so far where I just could not for the life of me do anything, but I've also had weeks where it was just bursts of energy and I just had to do things. I needed to get things done, and I was okay doing so. During this trimester, my stomach obviously was starting to get bigger, and since I already had a baby before, my muscles and ligaments were already loose, so I was able to start showing a lot sooner. And because of that, I feel like my stomach, especially during the second trimester, this was really bad. I felt like my stomach was stretching really hard, really fast, and my stomach just hurt, to be honest, because I felt like everything was growing too fast and my skin wasn't stretching quick enough, so my stomach just spent a lot of time hurting. During the second trimester, I didn't notice having as frequent urination. That seemed to slow down and go back to normal. And my breasts were a little tender. I started wearing sports bras for a little bit, but then during the second trimester here, they started feeling a little bit better, especially towards the end of it, like halfway to the end of the second trimester. I started going back to regular bras because my breasts were feeling a little bit back to normal, even though they definitely don't look normal, but you guys aren't going to see that. Sorry. So there was a moment during my second trimester where I was standing, and I was probably around 14 or 15 weeks, maybe close to 16 when this happened. But I was standing and I was talking to my boyfriend, and I felt a little push on my belly. So I pulled up my shirt and I looked down, and right on my left side, my stomach was poking out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm standing and I see him pushing out. So I get amazed at stuff like that. I thought that was really sweet. Like, I was standing, I wasn't just laying down where it would be easier to see, like I was standing. So during the second trimester, I had gotten a testing done, and this testing had changed since I had Chloe. I wasn't able to find out the gender with her, but I could find it out with this child, so I decided to do that. However, before we even got the results for this testing, I just had a feeling that this baby was a boy. I just, like, somehow I knew we were having a boy. It wasn't going to be a girl, like, we were having a boy. And when I got the call, I got my test results. They also told me that we were having a boy, and I was like, I knew it. I could have told you that. I knew it. But anyways, for this baby, I knew we were having a boy. And this test result, and then when we had the anatomy scan, just confirmed that we were having a boy. So in the very beginning of the trimester, I started feeling flutters of my baby, and as we got more towards the middle of the trimester, I was feeling him even more. As the weeks went on, I was feeling him more and more strongly, and I always felt like he was very, very low in my belly. And even to this point in my pregnancy, he's so low, especially compared to where Chloe was. Like, he's always been below my belly button. He's obviously much bigger now, being that I'm 32 weeks, so I'm feeling kicks and jabs everywhere. But when he was still just like a small little thing inside, and it would get rather uncomfortable if I would be trying to walk. And I remember, even though my urination kind of went back to normal, he was still so low that a lot of times he was sitting on my bladder, and then that makes you have to pee more. Also, during the second trimester, my stomach has become more, not just to me, but to other people as well. Also during the second trimester, pretty much only during the second trimester, now that I think about it, I was getting really bad nerve pinches in my lower back. I think they were mostly on my right side, but some of them were also on my left side, and it was just like really low, like right above my butt. Most of the time they would hinder me to the point where I had a really hard time walking, or I would start like limping a little bit until the pain eventually passed. And I always, at least I try as much as I can to sleep on my left side, which sleeping on your left side is better because you have that sciatic nerve on your right side, and if you sleep on your right side, you increase, you know, your chances of pinching that and whatnot. But yeah, I was still getting these pinched feelings, and it just, oh. And there was this one day during this trimester where the pinch was so intense and so bad that I couldn't move. I told my mom about it, and she's like, well, you know, you can't really, there's nothing really the doctors will say other than maybe going to therapy. Well, therapy isn't an option for me. I don't have the time, and what do I do with Chloe? So she said to just, take it easy. If you're gonna bend over, squat, try walking, keep yourself moving, sleep on your left side, stuff like that. And after I complained about it, I didn't really notice the pinching anymore. And even till this point, I have noticed I've maybe had pinches 1 or 2 times, but it definitely wasn't as bad or as frequently as I was feeling it during the second trimester. So about midway to the end of this trimester, I was having a lot of difficulty staying asleep at night. I would wake up multiple times, even if I just woke up for a second and then right back to sleep, like I was waking up. And there were just a couple times where I woke up and I just had that pregnancy insomnia and I could not go back to sleep. There was one time I was going to be doing a yard sale for pretty much the whole day, and I woke up at 3 in the morning to go to the bathroom, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was up from 3 in the morning till at least 10 at night. That was not good for my tired pregnant self. And the last thing that I have to talk about on this topic, nearing the end of June, still during my second trimester, it started getting really hot, and since I'm obviously having a summer pregnancy, I was excited about that until it started getting hot. And when it started getting hot, I realized this is really difficult. I have a very hard time standing out in the heat, and I have a very hard time standing in direct sunlight. I have to constantly be eating and drinking to keep myself functioning properly, and I really have to limit how long I'm outside for, because otherwise the heat just gets to me so much quicker and I just feel terrible so much sooner. Okay, now that that's done, the next thing that I want to talk about is my diet and how I'm eating. During the second trimester, my diet has kind of went back to normal. I still really wanted soup. I kind of think soup may have been a little bit of a craving, even though there wasn't any particular kind. I definitely wasn't needing to eat soup as much as in the first trimester when I felt horrible. But during this trimester, instead of having like cravings that lasted a long time, I kind of had weekly cravings. Like one week I really wanted nachos, and I would like eat nachos a lot for that week. And then the next week I was really craving grilled cheese and tomato soup, which I always like grilled cheese and tomato soup. But during that week I was eating it a whole lot more. There was a period of time where I was really into pickles, and I was eating a lot of pickles, but now that's kind of calmed down, and now I'm like, I don't really need to have them anymore. So yeah, but that was kind of how my second trimester went, food-wise. Other than that, I didn't have any real issues eating. I felt like I was eating fine. I was still eating the same healthy foods. I feel like towards the end of my second trimester, I was starting to want to eat more unhealthy food, like chocolate or candy bars or something. So instead of just completely cutting it, I would just treat myself a little bit. If I have a little bit at bedtime, a little bit here, a little bit there, stuff like that in moderation is fine. Okay, and the final topic that I have is taking care of my daughter and how she's handling it at this point. By this point, it was getting more noticeable that I was pregnant, and Eric and I were talking about it more in front of Chloe, so she was starting to become more aware. Like, even if she doesn't truly understand the fact that there's a baby growing inside of me, she at least understands the fact that like something's changing with mom. And this whole time, even during this second trimester, she has been very considerate of that, for being a 2-year-old now at this point, she has been decent with me. She doesn't maliciously try to hit my stomach or anything. And as the time went on in this trimester, she has started to include her little brother a bit more. She'll offer to try and feed him through my belly. She would start lifting up my shirt so she could kiss my belly, and she would start saying, "Hi, Colt." And probably like the end of my 2nd trimester to the beginning of my 3rd, she started hugging my belly as well. And yeah, so her dealing with this pregnancy has been very well, and I've said this like 100 times now, but I'm very thankful for it. But taking care of her wise, I feel like I had a lot easier of a time taking care of her during the 2nd trimester than the 1st one, because the 1st one I just always felt like poop. I was just, yeah. But this trimester overall was a little bit better despite the minor bumps and whatnot that I had. And plus, like, my stomach was growing, but it still wasn't like huge, so it wasn't really getting in the way of anything. So definitely the 2nd trimester was the best for taking care of a 2-year-old. So I think that is everything that I wanted to add for this video. Now I'm in my 3rd trimester, so I'm going to wait a couple weeks until I'm like at my due date before I actually, make my 3rd trimester video. So if there is anything that you guys want me to talk about in that video, go ahead and leave any comments of that down below so I know to include those topics in my next one. And if you guys have any questions or want me to elaborate on anything else, feel free to leave that down below as well. I'll try and answer you as. So I gotta wrap this up because I need to eat something now. So hungry. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up so that I know. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can become a part of my small little family and never miss a video with me. If you guys have watched all of these videos so far, then thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this little series and updates or whatever you want to call it. And I hope that I see all of your beautiful faces in my next video too. So with that being said, mwah! Bye guys.